Let's see if this thing's even in the right position. Hey, everybody waiting and thumbs up in. Woo! Shalom. Hey, shout out to Teresa. Shalom, Nidabiller. U.S. Ministry of Truth message retracted. What? There's Grace Akers. Shout out. Channel supporter and Andy Vetter. Shalom, brother. And there's Steph. Shalom. And Kai Jen. Channel supporter. Appreciate it. Hello. Kyle M. Shalom. Teresa Jukowitz. Shalom. She is also a moderator, so behave yourselves. All right. There's Karen. Hey, Sister Kate. Everybody say hello to each other and all those things. And I thought I would do I think I'm going to need different shoes on. I thought I'd do a live stream because I haven't done one in a while. We have been so busy. We did a feast. We did 2 weddings. We did some medical appointments. We did tax appointments. If you've seen the latest videos, I got a goat with mastitis who had to go to the vet. We've had planting finally. Yay! Hopefully I'll be taking a picture of the greenhouse soon. Now, I have to qualify that with I have done very little seed planting out there. I've got tomato seed, but I don't think it's warm enough for them to actually sprout. I am proud enough to say, though, that I did sprout some Israeli zucchini seeds that Raincat sent me. And it took them about a week. As soon as the weather got warmer here, they went ahead and sprouted, and they are now planted in the hoop houses. And the hoop houses out in the garden are one of the things that I've been doing lately, too. I used a lot of black plastic to kind of kill weeds down, but there were still areas that had a lot of weeds. So I was in there pulling weeds and planting bedding plants that I bought and other people bought for me. And thank you to, Champ de Soleil. She comes on to these live streams sometimes. She's a sister in the faith, and she got me some really nice ones. There is Becca Repurposed. There is Barry Honeycutt. Hello from Southeast Texas, Bear. And there's Smiling Mary, also a channel supporter. Shout out to Smiling Mary. Hello and good evening. Yeah. So, like for the past 3 weeks, busy. I have a hen sitting on eggs on my front porch, and she chose to ensconce herself in a cat kennel, but it really wasn't very safe for her out there. I was worried she'd get eaten in the middle of the night like by a raccoon. So I put her in a much bigger dog travel kennel, and I leave the door locked on that. She's got room to stand up, and I put food and water in there, and if she wants it, but I don't. She should be free from predators in there. The only thing that can get in there would be some kind of snake, and hopefully she'd fuss and let me know. What else has been going on? Well, what has been going on with y'all? It's now mid-May. Have y'all, what's been going on in your life? Kids graduating, you graduating, jobs changing. I have a bantam hen sitting on 2 goose eggs. Well, U.S. Ministry of Truth, those bantams are very dedicated sitters, and I think she's capable of hatching you gooses, and the gooses are so valuable. My son's son and daughter-in-law have at least 3 sets of geese, male and female, and their champ that they've had for like 2 years, Lucy Goosey, sits on eggs, and so she lays eggs in the nest, and then my daughter-in-law takes them and she puts them in an incubator, but the hen keeps laying until she gets the nest full, and then she lets the hen hatch them, and she hatched out 8 recently. She's had some tough times in the past with the goslings, having bad things happen. The dog eats them, or a couple of them drowned when they took them to a pond when they were very young. So this year they're very they've got them within like an electric fence, and they've got a big kennel for them. And hopefully they'll be protected and be able to get, out of their gosling hood and into, grown up geese hood. And I think the kind of geese she has are Emden. She's got gray geese that are very normal goose looking. And I, try to buy goslings, $75 for 2 or something. We have 3 new Chinese brown goslings, and I love them more than any of the birds. Our wolf dog got one, and it broke my heart. Picking up new chicks tomorrow, says Grace Acres. We'll dispatch current hens that are not laying and bin planting. Grace Acres, you are braver than me, because I let my hens die a natural death. We paid $20. You got a steal. You live near Amish or something? Hatch 22 quail for meat, popcorn chicken. Quail is an awesome thing. I mean, I've seen the videos on them. I'm not doing it right now, but I would definitely, if you want alternate meat, I would think quail would be the bomb diggity. They are ready to eat very quick and hatch quickly too. Smiling Mary. Garden Inn wedding on Saturday has a setting hen, planning on hatching more chicks for freezer camp. I'm actually considering, I've got 100 eggs laying around the house now. My hens are laying like 20 a day. I'm going to hard boil them and pickle them this week. I think that's what I'm going to do with them. But I'm also considering ordering another incubator, because I have duck eggs again in the incubator, hoping this time to be able to hatch some ducks out. And some probably will end up in freezer camp, the males. But I would also like to be doing some hatching with my chicken eggs. I've got every color. If you looked in the picture at the opening of the live stream, I have every color egg now. I've got dark brown and green and light and white. And I've got many varieties of birds, and I'd really like to have chicks. Bless if meat prices go up. There you have it. Have your own birds. Shalom from Northern Idaho, says Hunter Kirk. Look at my hair. Woo. Been a crazy day. Did some moving of sheep who've never been touched by anybody before. What else did I do today? So the goat that has to have the med, it's a little syringe thing that you put up inside her teat, and the teat does have an opening at the bottom of it. And she has to have that done for another, I think, 3 days. But she's doing so much better. And that's been a regular thing. Watering things in the greenhouse has been a regular thing. I plan on doing housekeeping tomorrow, sweeping, washing dishes, stuff like that. And that canning thing. I have watched a zero of the news. I have no idea what's going on out there, except that it seems like there's a lot of craziness, and has been for a while. Yeah, quail, 6 to 8 weeks of plague. Yep. And you incubate them because they're not real good at setting, I don't think. Also, this live stream will be about half an hour long, because it is, getting late at night and I'm tired and I want to start my relaxation mode. I am going to do another live stream soon on the Aaron Burr, Alexander Hamilton duel, because I'm almost at the end of that book, and there's a lot of information about that duel that I did not know, that I find fascinating. What else? Oh, for the Krew chiefs, and there's only 2 of them. Yeah, it's about my bedtime, says Westhold Forge. Also another channel supporter who gets a shout out. Oh man, what was it? Oh, Krew chiefs. Yes, Krew chiefs. 2 people are at the Krew chief level, and so I uploaded a story for them today. It's the first one. And I think I plan on doing, if I haven't already, some sort of post on the community section for the Neo Pioneers and Krews. Ooh, Grace Acre says, I'm looking forward to that. I'm also considering adding one perk that's kind of maybe in between the Neo Pioneer and the Chief level. That would be like a counseling perk. I don't know. I may throw that in there. I don't know if I have time though. Following Yeshua just uploaded a video on walking onions. I guess he's going to start selling them. I have walking onions. They never get very big, but you never have to plant them. Once you planted them, they replant themselves. They're really good. There is Stephen Wilson, one old man, and and a channel supporter. Shalom to you, Stephen Wilson. Thank you for your support. Appreciate that. Hey, cat, get down from there. Psst. Hold on, y'all. Get off there. Man, that cat, when the mice is away, the cats will play. When the cat's away, the mice will whatever. She was climbing up on the what do you call it? Where I cook, the camp stove, because it smells yummy up there, but she's not supposed to be doing that. What? You little stinker. There is Philip Hales, and he says salve. Right on. Yeah, you're the kitty. Exactly. Oh, and we had like some really bad thunderstorms in the area. The photo that I announced this live stream on, that big rock, the whole bottom of the property had the flood so bad that huge rocks were rolled around, displaced, changed the whole creek bed down there. There was evidence of where the water had just, come way up out of the banks, and trees were barked from stones hitting them and all that stuff. It was a heck of a rain, and it was good for all the plants. Like, wow, he's got ticks in his ears. Come here, buddy. Ugh. No, he's not gonna let me get it. It's really good for the plants because now everything in our area is very, very green. It's back to the subtropical jungle look in our area. Peach tree's got some peaches on it. Pear tree has some pears on it. I've got 2 blueberry bushes for the first time that have a lot of fruit on it. Happy hour. Well, serious fire. So where's this fire? My daughter was talking about a fire. Danger in the west. Yeah, I think Colorado, California. It happens every year, though. The western part of our country has had big fires for a really long time because it gets dry out that way, and then a lightning strike happens, or somebody chucks a cigarette or a match or something down, and then whoosh. Yep, Teresa's like praying for those people. Arizona, I think, says Steve Wilson. Philip says Colorado. Be western Colorado, right? In the mountains, Arizona and New Mexico. There's a reason, that Pastor and I never looked at Arizona and New Mexico for settling, because hot and dry. Fire season sucks. It sure does. It's no fun. Fire's just about as easy to control as a flood is. Also, terrible forest management. Right. Because our Forest Service is really not about keeping our forests healthy. It's about growing trees that the country that can then sell, make money by selling to somebody else. Yeah. Front Range. Front side of the Rockies. Dog. They can just tell I'm not paying attention to them, and they're starting to act up. It's very annoying. Aaron Burr, Alexander Hamilton. That's going to be a live stream coming up soon. Fascinating story there. Lots of details. Just if you think about the fact that the vice president shot the secretary of the Treasury, like nothing like that happens nowadays. The last big assassination / thing like that happened was Kennedy. Reagan getting wounded. She's still at it. Can't get down from there. Hey, I'm gonna have to throw something at her. What else? What else is going on in y'all's world? 2 scurrilous individuals. Well, I don't know that they were both scurrilous. They were certainly historic. Do you guys have any impressions about Ukraine or opinions on the food situation. I know Angry Prepper had posted he was 5 minutes away from a crime scene today, and it's happening more often in his area. Let's see this comment. What do we got here? Let's ream at the gate. Some of my neighbors and I have been discussing doing a controlled burn on our homesteads in northeast Oklahoma. It's been a few years and it should be done. If you do something like that, one, you should stay within the boundaries of your state laws. I'm going long-term food shopping tomorrow. West Old Forge also had a garden on his page recently. And controlled burns work great if you do actually control them. And I highly recommend you do it on a day when you have no wind, because the wind can change a controlled burn into an uncontrolled burn. And a lot of departments nowadays, if they think you set a fire and you were not taking care of it, will charge you for the time for them to come out and put it out. Just finished reading 1984. I took so much more out of it as an adult. And there's Jimmy Carr. Shalom. Jimmy Carr taught me something. On a recent video, he made a comment. What was it about? Maybe you remember. Food situation is dire. Southern Prepper One has been covering this multiple times, almost daily. Going to restaurant supply for extra preps. I love restaurant supply stores, but I don't normally go to the ones that do the food stuff. I go to the ones that do the utensils and things. I like getting my storage containers and spatulas and things like that, pasta spoons from restaurant stores, because they tend to be really sturdy. All right, Philip Carr, what did you teach me? Dang it, I can't remember. Spiderwort. That's right, spiderwort. That spiderwort is, all of it is edible. And it's that plant that I posted on the community section. It's got the purple flowers on it, kind of three-leaved, I guess they call that trefoil, three-leaved purple plant. And the root, the leaves, and the flower are edible and supposedly delicious. Now, I knew it could be used somehow for eye things, to help your eye stuff. But I've never tried it. I've never eaten it or anything like that. Oh, I just noticed something about the photo. Got that tool table over there. That's not really very attractive, is it? It's kind of a mess. Okay. Let's see what else you guys got. Any questions for me? Philip Hale said they have beautiful flowers. Yeah, they do. Great place to get a stainless steel table for processing meat. Exactly right. They've got huge pots and they've got huge storage bins, and I like the tubs too, because I use them for washing dishes and carrying stuff around in. They're heavy duty. Their tubs, I really like them. I did some small controlled burns on our property, but I did them in the wintertime when it was kind of wet and snowy. So I didn't have to worry about anything spreading. Stems, buds, or blossoms edible. Yeah, supposedly the whole thing, Philip, and the root. I've never done the root either, but I was reading that it's the whole thing. And there's lots of other wild edibles out there. Hunter Kirk hooking up the drip irrigation. Awesome. Right now, as far as our garden and watering, I'm just carrying water out. It rained pretty well, so the ground is still moist out there. And we've got the best looking potato plants we've ever had. Got some almost 3 feet tall. Grace Acre. Got some elderberry and comfrey from a fellow crew member last week. Oh, that's cool. Who did you get it from? Oh, and I've got a package I was going to open. Gardener 67 sent me a package. I bought comfrey, I think it was early in spring, and I planted it, and my comfrey plant is really tall now. It's very happy. I think she may have sent me, there's the box. She may have sent me seeds also. right. Oh. Oh, Tim's permaculture. Oh, yeah, Tim has a lot of knowledge. Did you guys get to meet face to face, or did he mail you something? I wonder if this is soap. It looks like soap. It smells really good. And it looks like a paw print. I wonder if this is for like a pet or something. If any of you guys have seen anything like that before. I think it's soap. Smells good. She probably sent a letter too. Yeah, Tim's he's got a lot going on his property. He's got all kinds of plants planted and trees and bushes. He's not going to starve, I'll say that for sure. He's not going to starve. You went to his homestead? Widow's tear is great for the eyes. Camelina erecta is widow tears and has a spathe which gathers a drop of eye wash. Wow, that's interesting. All right, let's see what she says here. She sent me 2 of them. Well, this one looks like a goat with a baby goat. I think that's soap too. Goat with a baby goat nursing on it. How cute is that? That's really sweet. I think maybe she made these. All right. Well, Grace Akers, tell us about meeting Tim. Shalom, sister, and Pastor Joe, your soap is finally here, or by now there. The pink is for sister, the blue sea breeze is for pastor. The glycerin really gets your hands clean. Happy spring, don't overwork yourselves. God's blessings. Well, thank you so much, Gardener 67. These are really cute. That was very thoughtful of you. Hopefully she watches this video so she knows I thanked her, and I'll probably just thank her on the community section too, but that was really nice of her. So Soapy Acres Homestead sent me goat soap too one time. That was really pretty. I haven't busted it out yet. I've been giving soap gifts enough that I'm still on some liquid soap that a brother bought me about 10 years ago. He brought this great big bottle of Dr. So-and-so soap, and I'm still using that. All right, let's see. Okay. Do goats help control multiflora rose? Yeah, they like roses. Grace Acres said they're only about an hour apart. That's cool. Frog Symphony. Here in Connecticut, the frogs laid early. I've seen 0 tadpoles, though. I think the early warm spell caused them to lay early. I actually have tadpole eggs in the trough outside where we get our water, and I wanted to transplant them somewhere else. Philip Hale says Ukraine artillery in the Donbass region. Would this be alternative planning to just level area with massive artillery barrages? Task and Purpose channel says that decapitating the government is the primary plan. Well, decapitating the government often gets you a populace that just is looking for someone to help out, and then you can kind of fill the void. Come on, Kikos. Yeah, she's a stink. His place is great. He has so much knowledge, and well, I'm just really happy that he's there and that you got to do that. There she is. She's the one meowing in the background. Because he seems like a really nice fella, and he's got a greenhouse and all that stuff. He seems very, very knowledgeable. He's a great man of God and loves to give out what he is blessed with. Well, hallelujah. Looking to acquire land in North Colorado or up into Wyoming? I hope you like the cold and the wind. Wyoming is very, very windy. Yeah. All right. Any other questions or anything like that y'all got going on? Sounds like a great experience. Yeah, if you watch his channel online, he's just super friendly. Russia fired upon Israel. Whoa, wait a minute. Something just flashed up. Russia fired on Israel? Can anybody confirm that? Can anybody quick zip out to Google or something and find out what's going on there? I didn't even get a chance to check who posted that. Yeah. Whoops. She's shedding all over me. All right, you know what? You probably need to get down. I'm wearing dark clothes. That's not going to look good tomorrow. Jeez. Guys, I am not a cat lover. This cat, on one hand, she's kind of fun, and on the other hand, she drives me nuts. Old cat lady conversation going on here. Hey. Thanks for showcasing him so I could meet him. Well, you're welcome. I forget. I think his feed came up on my feed, and so I was just like, back in those days, God bless him. He had like 2 views on his videos, and I thought, the channel name Permaculture, that's going to be some good information there. He's probably got at least one suggestion of something that I can use, and I was just super impressed. I think he's on 10 acres there, and he's got a pond and a greenhouse and several raised beds, and he's planted all kind of plants, and he's got maybe an apple tree that he's doing the espalier thing with it, where it spreads out horizontally and you trim most of the branches back. Susan Bryant. Hey, shalom. Shout out to Susan Bryant, channel supporter. Russia fired at jets, I believe. They fired at Israeli jets over Syria. Ooh, that's kind of pushy. It says Russia fired on Israeli jets over Syria. Thanks, you guys were fast on that. Hey, Dragon Shield. How are the sheep for undergrowth clearance? Pastor seems genuinely pleased. Yeah, they're almost too good at it. The areas that he has had them, they are leveling everything in the area. And the thing about sheep is they will pull grass up by the roots, so you can overfeed them on part of your property. Like if you leave them there too long, they'll kill the grass, and then you've got to reseed. So the one thing about them is, it's good to move them. It's good to go from one spot to another, and have a way to move them around. And if you have not done anything like that with your sheep, you kind of need to train them how you're going to move. If you're going to put a leash on one of them and take the lead sheep and lead it and everyone else follow, or if you're going to use a stick and drive them in front of you, or you've got a border collie who also can, run around them and keep them all compact and head them in direction for you. Or if you just have pastures that are connected with fences and open a fence and drive them towards the fence and close it behind them. But yeah, they've done a really good job of clearing undergrowth. Hey, Rachel, Hey House, Krew Chief. Shalom to you. Google says Russia fired at Israeli jets yesterday. Rachel, also, I would like you to comment on the community posts about which of the perks you're interested in. If you're interested in all 3 of them, please let me know so I can, kind of respond. The other chief has already put a comment in there. I read that an Israeli news site, first time Russia fired on Israeli planes in Syria. There is Dragon Shield, shalom. Cattle ranchers hated sheep and shepherds for that reason, right? And they also were trying to sort out, where the flocks could go, different flocks could go, and, fencing versus not fencing. And the cattle guys didn't like when the sheep came through because they cleared everything, and then there's nothing for the cattle to eat, and it was a thing. Ranchers slaughtered thousands of sheep and killed sheep herders late 19th, early 20th century. I have no doubt about that. Do you have your roads repaired yet? Nebraska. Lee Meents said. We've got ours pretty well repaired. Are they escape artists? Sheep, says a peculiar people. I think they would only try to be escape artists if there was nothing for them to eat. As long as they're well fed, they kind of don't mind staying put And they do travel in a flock more than goats do. When you move goats, they do want to stick together, but like if you put your like I tie my goats out, they will wander off from the group and look at things and smell things and eat what they want to eat, and they do come together as well, but I think sheep just tend to stay together like birds do in a flock. Buck account says, bless you, Sister Kate. I look forward to being able to visit the church on Shuffer Mountain before the year is over. Buck account, you need to go through pastor to make that happen. Ukraine evacuated Mariupol today. Ooh, that's not a good sign. If you've evacuated, then someone's going to take over it. There is DK Leith. Shalom, Sister Kate and Shofarians. If Russia and Israel get into a conflict, wouldn't we have to back Israel? McMarky, I certainly think so, since Russia's not really an ally of ours. And they're not quite as communist as they used to be, but they were the main enemy during the Cold War days, the 70s, kind of into the 80s. Russia did change a bit, and with Putin in office, he's more like, a president or a dictator. We've never, we're not really allies with them, and we are allies with Israel. So I think we would have to back Israel. But I don't think Israel really wants to take on Russia. I'm sure they'll see, because if the Russians fired on their jets but did no damage, then there'll probably be some kind of diplomatic hubbubaloo. Probably an ambassador or maybe something happening at the UN where Israel's like, this is a kind of aggression and you need to back off and leave us alone and that sort of thing, I would imagine. I don't think they want to tangle. That's a book of Revelation stuff, invasion from the north. It is kind of, because if Israel gets involved, then there is a possibility of Revelation-y kind of stuff. Oligarch of all oligarchs in Russia. How do I contact Pastor Sister Patreon Buck account? That is one way. He usually gives out an email to people who are asking how they can contact him. Okay. Anything else? I'm still watching that show. What's it called? It's called Resurrection something Heir to Gruel. And the only reason I knew that name was it was on some civilization type game that I used to play years ago. And I'd never heard of it. It's, I think, like 1200s Turkey. He was a historical figure, and there was fighting Muslim against Muslim, but also a possibility of a third. What do they call those when they would march to Jerusalem and try to take it over? Crusade, like a third crusade. So this is a background happening historically of the Turks fighting other Muslims, and it was the Seljuks against the Ayyadids, something like that, which I think would equate to the Sunnis and the Shias nowadays. There's two branches of Muslim believers, and one of them believes in Muhammad's, I don't know, his like students that he taught, and the other one believes in his relatives being the the line that carries some sort of holy something or other, name, blood, something, and they've been at odds with each other forever and ever. And I just find it interesting because there's a lot of tribe in the series I'm watching. There's tribe unity, there's a tribal leader, he has everyone's respect, everyone has to listen to what he says, he guides the tribe, he also tries to benefit the tribe. There's a lot of what Pastor Joe has talked about tribe. happening in that historic time, because the different groups were definitely known by the name of their leader, and they were more tribes and less nations at that time. So it's kind of interesting to me. They have loyalty and a sense of honor and tribal customs, and the their yurts, these huge yurts. I mean, when they show the photos of them in the series from the outside with like a horse and people walking in front of them, they're probably as big as the little cottage I'm living in, at least 30 by 30. And then in one of the shows, they're going to move, and so they show them taking these yurts apart. There's very large, they're not canvas, I'm sure they're leather, rawhide strips that they peel off, and they roll it up, and they show people carrying them around. And then there's some kind of interwoven wooden framework, and they show people, stretching them out or packing them up and tying them up, and there's long poles. And it's just a really interesting historic perspective that I really enjoy watching. How they acted, what they were wearing. They wore a lot. I'm sure it was wool because they had sheep. Several layers of clothing with the kind of double-breasted closure in the front, kind of like the Chinese did. With all the clothing looks heavily padded, so it must be very cold where they are. And you see the actors talking, and their breath is, it's like it's steamy. There's just a lot to enjoy there. So I'm still watching that. I think there's like 7 different seasons of it. We pray that NATO don't find an easy excuse to create more war. If a war needs to fight, I'm all for it, but I'm not for war's sake. Neither am I, Dragon Shield. I think it's a money thing. There's Oregon Berry. Good evening, Sister Catherine. Thank you. Yes, I am now. You may call me Catherine, because I am old enough. I have gravitas. That's my whole name. Gotta jump off, says Dragon Shield. Blessings to you. Israel has been hitting Iranians in Syria for years. Chariots of fire, massive drills for first strike on Iran to knock out nuclear programs of Iraq in 80 and 81. Yeah, there's always been a stuff out there. Turks are Sunni. Bucket Alien, Cowboy 22 here signing off. Old-timey Hatfields and McCoys. Exactly. Shia believes succession passed through his nephew, Ali. And Sunnis believe it passed through his wife or his, something. Persians are Shia, also Hezbollah, majority of Iraq, minority population of Yemen, right? Shias are Persians versus Arabs. It's kind of different. Whoa, is that a bruise on your right inner forearm? Yes, it looks like it is. Maybe not. It's probably dirt, quite frankly. Give me 2 seconds and I'll see if I can wash it off. Get me some water. I'll be right back. Yeah, no, that's no bruise. No, that was probably something off the vehicles or tire or something. That was not a bruise, but thank you for asking. Thank you for being concerned. You work too hard, says DK Leith. I know lots of folks with yurts. They are the way to go. Well, they definitely had it all down pat, but it looked like in the series they packed everything into wooden chests that had legs on them and had sort of handles on them so they could carry them around, but they would roll up all those layers of skins and whatnot into these rolls and put them in those chests, and then put them on a wagon or whatever. And the inside of the yurt had very colorful designs. They were kind of simple, but obviously these and in the movie the women did the dyeing. They knew what they were doing. when they were weaving and dyeing these carpets that they made from the sheep's wool. And then they lined the yurts with that, and that was what the wall inside and outside was of the yurt. Raincat Studio, Shalom SK, how is everyone? Raincat, she is a channel supporter. Chariots of Fire drill simulates war on 6 fronts. That's a lot, but you know, they're right in the middle. Shalom, Catherine. You guys have picked up on this. Pastor must have done a video or something. Israel's kind of surrounded by lots of enemies, so they would have to do something like that. Scholars for Sunni. Shalom from New Zealand, says Set Apart One. Really? New Zealand? Which island? Wow, wow, Set Apart One. How did you come to the faith? And there's another one from Teresa. She's always very positive. Raincat, I was talking about you earlier about that salve that you sent. I think I said that. Didn't I say that? I thought I did. The Lord bless thee and keep thee. Gotta go. All right, same to you, Phillips. I have family there in New Zealand. No idea where. It's probably going to take them a minute to respond because the signal's got to come, halfway across the planet. Raincat, I just logged in. Let's give Set Apart a minute to respond to my question. How did they come to Torah? Because they just live on an island out in the Pacific. Oh man, I'm sorry, I'm looking down. Yeah, it was something good, Raincat. I'm pretty sure it was about the salve you sent me. Oh, no, it was about the seeds. That's what it was. It was about the Israeli zucchini seeds. It was you who sent them, correct? I finally got them planted in the ground, and their leaves are big, and all of them have a third leaf up. They like it here, probably because it's kind of warm. If they truly are from Israel, I thought that would probably be the case. Excuse me, they were probably developed to do well in a hot climate. And we've got a lot more water, I think. Wow. Come on, y'all. I don't see your comments. Is it me or is it you? Excuse me. I'm trying to wipe the cat hair off my pants. They're black, and they're like the only nice pair I have. So I don't like having that there. And I decided to wear this dark shirt. And of course the cat had to jump on me. Ridiculous. All right. Come on. There we go. North Island. I was a Christian for many years, but recently came to Torah. Yah was working on me for a while. I ditched Christmas and Easter and wanted to follow the whole of Yah's word. That is so interesting. And thank you for sharing that. And it's interesting because a lot of people come to Torah that way. They notice Christmas doesn't really have a whole lot to do with Jesus, even though people try to say, the thing with the manger and the shepherds and everything, that's a Christmas thing. Like the church put it all together. And yet you don't see any mention of things like Christmas or Santa or reindeer or anything like that in the Bible. And lots of people do this thing and ask someone in their church, why do we have a tree in our church? This is not really, and get told, well, don't worry about it. That's just what we do. And it doesn't sit right with them. So isn't that interesting? That signal has a long way to go to New Zealand and back. It sure does, McMikey. I don't have very good reception this evening. I'm sorry about that, Grandma Junior's farm. My phone has got, like 1 bar. I'm listening and making a wedding card for the bride and the groom. Isn't that sweet? That's really nice that you're making it. Do you have like the card making stuff? I had a friend who had so much. It was just her favorite thing to do. So many supplies for making cards. Little stickers to put in it, little 3D things. She had lacy stuff, different colored paper. She really, she would make these gorgeous, gorgeous cards. And her supplies took up like an office sized part of her house. Hey, Edward Wooden, thank you. Or Wooden. How do you pronounce your name? Wooden? Wooten? Welcome to Krew members. Thank you so much for supporting the channel. Yes, they were from a zucchini I grew from seeds given me by an Airbnb guest that stayed with us. He said they are an organic kibbutz from where he worked. Wow. I think you may have said that in your note when you sent them, that they came from an organic kibbutz. But isn't that interesting that he was your Airbnb guest? Because didn't you say on an Instagram post that, or your Airbnb, sorry, my brain is not working. Your Airbnb treehouse was on one of the photos or posts or something. There was a set of like 4 of them, 4 photos from an Airbnb. Welcome. Plus, I grew up with a stepfather whom is an Anglican priest, and the whole religiosity put me off. I believe that, especially for Anglican. It's not you, it's our reception. Westfield Forge has Santa Claus is Odin. I thought he was Saint Nick too, Westhold. I thought there was a real Saint Nick in the Catholic Church. Edward Wooden. Tree in the church could be tree of life or tree of knowledge. It could be, but I'm specifically talking about like a spruce with the stuff hanging off of it. I saw a lot of hypocrisy in the church, set apart one. Yeah, and we were church leaders, and there can be a lot of hypocrisy. Wooden. Please tell me I'm saying that right. Wooden, not wooden. I mean, the hypocrisy people talk about when they talk about it really turning them off would be, married people committing adultery, or the pastor stealing money, or, asking for money all the time, things like that. Smiling Mary, yes, it's my therapy. Oh, cool. Well, not really Odin, but a mix of Odin and his goat. You know more about that than I do, brother. We are listed on Airbnb as well as an Australian company called Rip-A-Ride. Oh, interesting. I didn't know there was such a thing, Raincat. That's cool. That's really cool. Wooden like a chair. Okay, wooden. All right, got it. There is Gary Lee. Hi, Sister Catherine. Vain Traditions is a good read for Christian people. Talks about it, Christmas, Easter, and a whole lot of pagan stuff we do or say unknowingly where it came from. Right. Yeah. There's a red book about pagan Christianity that's got that stuff in it. And there's Hey Sue, shalom. Looks like you have a pretty picture for your whatever you call it. What is that called? Avatar. Yeah. Good night, all. All right. Good night, brother. Yeah, it is getting late. I'll stay on 9 more minutes, so it'll be a full hour, and then I'm going to get off too because it's getting late. They're starting out in the U.S., beginning in Washington State. They contacted me. Wow, you must really be something, lady. If you're on Instagram and an Australian company contacts you, good for you. My house is way too messy for me to rent it out to anybody else. Anybody else here like Airbnb? I've stayed in a few, and normally they're pretty decent. They are. Most of the people running them try to keep them tidy and organized, and stay in contact with you. So when you show up, they make sure you get your key and get into the place and everything okay. The last one I stayed in, they had a janky drawer in their kitchen, and so we kind of tried to make sure we didn't do any worse damage to it, and when we left, it was still not in great shape, but it was still in place. And then she sent me a text later and said, hey, the front fell off of it. Do you know anything about that? And I said, it was still on when we were there. So it must have been something your cleaning lady did, because the cleaning lady told her the front came off this drawer. But when we were there, it was still on. And the landlady was pretty gracious about that. She said, okay, I just wanted to make sure, I was just contacting you to find out what actually went on. And I told her. And that was the last one I did. Let's see what we got going on here, comment-wise. Is the pine tree a good symbol, Raw Food Writer says. It was on George Washington Naval Fleet flag. Not sure why he chose the pine. There was something going on. Pastor and I looked into that a few months ago. We saw a pine tree, kind of like a don't tread on me type flag. I think it was... sorry, I don't remember the exact details, like a colonial era, sort of like, what am I trying to say here? Oh, the silversmith. Can't remember his name right now. It starts with an R. Like his group, Sons of Liberty type group. There was a group that had the pine tree symbol, but I'm talking specifically in the biblical context, where in the Bible the father does say, something about himself being strong like an evergreen, but Jeremiah, can't remember the exact verses. I think it's around 11, maybe 15, maybe 10, talks about, don't cut a tree down, set it up in your house, and then decorate it with gold and silver, sparkly things like the pagans do. So it's much more specific than just a pine tree. Sister Catherine, or anyone here know anything about Hallelujah scriptures or United on Yah? I do not. I have a property in upstate New York that we might try an Airbnb with, still discussing it. It's a good way to make money if, nothing is happening, like you have this property and there's nothing going on. If you had a house or something and you weren't renting it out, because I think you can schedule people coming up there when you want to. Okay. Hi from Arizona, Mexico border. And hi from Arizona, New Mexico, lives outdoors, border, SKM pastor. Did my ointment help with any bites? I'm harvesting plantain now. I haven't been using, and this is, I don't want you to think that there's something wrong. I used it on a bite recently, but I also think my hands were dirty and the bite got worse. So, what I just put on, like I've got a bite that looks bad right now, and I think the same thing happened, and I put tea tree oil on it first, and I want to see how it does. And if it doesn't do, then I'll use your plantain, because the bites around here, I've got like a puncture on my finger from a blackberry bush, and I get the tick bites, and then I get blackberry scratches and sawtooth briar pricks and all sorts of weird stuff, and some of them react better to other things. But yes, I did try it. And I just think it wasn't your salve. It was, I really have to be careful about my hands and the ducks, because the ducks really, their manure and stuff is very germy. Tea tree is excellent, and yes, clean hands. Yeah, tea tree has done some amazing things out here, and it's also done zero on that one big infection I talk about in another video. Tea tree didn't touch it. Nothing I put on it touched it, and it just kept getting bigger and bigger and bigger. So I ended up getting a shot. All right, any other questions, y'all? We got for like 3 minutes, barely 3 minutes. I don't even know what time it is. Is it almost 10? Losing connection. Thanks for allowing me to join. You're welcome. Organic tea tree with manuka honey is amazing. What is manuka honey? Is that honey from the manuka tree or flower or plant or something? Honey is a good healing antibacterial. I know that. And tea tree has done, Pastor had some kind of weird spider bite when we first got here and we put tea tree on it and it knocked it right out of the park. So it's definitely got its uses. And eucalyptus. I love eucalyptus oil for clearing like sinuses and stuff. You have to get the organic tea tree. I'm pretty sure the stuff I have is organic. I get it from a health food store. I may add it to the next batch and your bite sounds infected. Yeah, they do get infected out here. Just popping in to say shalom. Cassie, wife of Narrowgate Homestead. Shalom to you, sister. Need to go. May Yah bless and keep you too, sweetie. Manuka honey from Manuka tree 15 plus from New Zealand. Manuka comes from New Zealand. Very expensive here. You guys grow some really cool stuff out there with the tea tree and the Manuka. I need to hunt down my tea tree oil. I have a couple of weird bites. I saw it earlier. I put tea tree and Manuka honey on all my kids' infections. You know, pine tree resin salve works pretty good on that too. Good night, Andy. And McMarkey says he likes Manuka honey. Might have to check it out next time I go to my health food store. I hadn't heard of it before. What else? I like to put lavender oil on certain scratches and bites. Sometimes the lemon oil. Excuse me, my goodness. Excuse me. Gotta go, says Teresa. Good night. Excuse me. Lone Star Living, I'm just about to get offline. We got 30 seconds. Shalom to you, though, and shout out to you. Try the ointment as soon as you get a bite. Yep. I haven't heard of pine tree salve. Yeah, I think they call it like pine resin salve. Someone sent Pastor and I some, and I've used it. Costco carries it, the Manuka honey. Okay, I'm not a Costco member, but that's interesting. A local beekeeper keeps hives on our place and gives us 12 quarts of honey. You are so lucky that he does that, Smiling Mary. I wish someone was keeping bees here just to pollinate everything we've got going on. The only bites we get out here are from Antifa, Oregon Berry says. Good night. No worries, just saw you were on. Wanted to say hi. Well, thank you, sir. Appreciate it. The ointment has lavender and frankincense. Well, I will have to. Maybe I'll put it on tonight then. The Mermaid sales some drawing salve that is great on bite. The Mermaid sales. Maybe you're saying salve. Some drawing salve that is great on bites. Hunter Kirk says shalom all. Thanks for keeping us in your loop. Sister Kate says Tina for sure. Take care, SK4. What is it used for? It is used for bites and stuff, said a part one. Wow, such a blessing. Shalom at Lone Star Living. All right, y'all. I am going to get offline now. Thank you for showing up, y'all. Thank you for all your tips, set of part one. Thanks for comments and everyone else. Thank you for your comments. Thank you for all the channel supporters and the moderators. Luckily, we're a very polite audience, and it's not seldom needed to have the moderators actually have to take care of somebody, but I appreciate them being in the chats, and I am going to sign off and get down to relaxing. All right, y'all, bless you. Shalom. The Mermaid sales. All right. I have not, Jimmy. I do not do my own essential oils, at least not yet. You have to add a lot of